Welcome everyone to episode 25 of the Pinnacle Combat Sports Podcast. I'm Jim and I'm here with Dan. Dano, what's going on, buddy?
Nothing much, Jimbo. It was a eventful weekend.
It was a wild pay-per-view card. We're definitely going to have a lot to talk about today on the podcast. Do you want to just get right into it with the card, the main event?
It was a great fight. Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought it was awesome.
Let's bring everyone in at the beginning of the podcast. Let's talk about that main event. I guess, well, if you listen to the pre-episode, you kind of had an idea of where we were leaning, or at least where you were leaning for the fight. I was still kind of on the fence when we talked a couple days ago. But I guess based on what you thought on Friday night, what surprised you about the fight? And I don't know, what did you think overall? Like, yeah, I mean, just general reaction from what we saw on Saturday.
I thought for a good part of that fight, Dricus wasn't really comfortable on the feet. I didn't think we were going to see that like that. A lot of times he didn't seem comfortable, which I was kind of surprised. Which is like he's weird anyway, huh? Like the way he throws his strikes, it's very. I don't even know how you prepare for it.
Yeah, he seems like a lot of the strikes he throws is, well, at least in that fight, was almost what do you call it? Desperate. He looked desperate at times.
Yeah, Adesanya he looked on point on the feet for the most part, and was defending everything else pretty well. And that was just like we talked about, that just one mistake, capitalize off of one little mistake, and it's a big mistake. But that's really all it was, because for the most part, I mean, especially the body work he was able to do, I was surprised about that.
Yeah,
he
was awesome.
Pretty effortlessly getting to his body, which I was surprised he was able to do. But he looked great, man. There's no reason for him to hang it up. Just gotta tighten things up.
Yeah, he
didn't look rusty at all.
He looked measured. And he said that before the fight. He's like, I'm really not looking at the outcome. I just want to perform and do my best. And I think
he did that.
He definitely did that. He
did
won
that.
Almost every round. I think the first round you could give it either way. I actually had it scored a draw the first round because I literally couldn't figure out who to give the round to because it was that close. But yeah,
I had Adesanya. I had him up 2-1 going into that fourth, so I can't remember which one I gave Dricus. Maybe it was the first, but I thought it was the second. I can't remember.
Yeah,
I'd have to look back.
Well, either way, I think he was winning the fight for sure. Adesanya.
He was.
Yeah.
He's in control for the most part.
Absolutely, and yeah, like you said, the body shots. I feel like people in the UFC don't take advantage of the body as much as they should, and every time we see it, it puts the other fighter like on their heels. You know, like I remember a big one was Stipe in DC. Stipe was hitting the body with DC, and DC kind of after a couple good body shots, there wasn't much left in DC's tank, you know?
He just couldn't get out of the way of him or something, because he took so many.
Yeah.
Pretty consecutive. Like he must have just been hurt and he couldn't move, because he wasn't even trying to get out of the way. So, like you said, probably just couldn't. Those are brutal. I remember those ones.
Yeah.
To see a guy like Stipe delivering them. Jesus.
I know, right?
But no, Adesanya looked great, so there's no reason for any of that. How old is he, Jim? Let's see.
How old is Adesanya?
Yeah, 35. Okay, so he's really not like that old either. He's 35 now. So.
Well, I mean, either way, he's had an amazing career so far up to this point. He really doesn't have much more to prove to anybody. I think he should just keep fighting the way he did on Saturday night. Just all performance-based, get the biggest fights he possibly can, and just try to be the best version of himself. And I think that's good for everybody. It's good for him. It's good for the fans. It's good for UFC. So his style's great. People love him. He's always going to sell out and sell tickets. So, yeah.
So what's next for him, Jim?
What's next for him? That's a good question. I got the rankings up because
I
we always
threw
talk
out
about it.
one. Yeah, I threw out one at you. Remember? I forget. I don't know if you remember which one I threw.
Yes, I do.
Imavov.
Yes. Well, there's things that have to happen, right? So Sean Strickland's going to get the rematch against Duplessis. So that's
Yeah.
set in stone. When that's going to happen, we don't know, but that's going to happen. So that leaves like the top 5 completely open. Imavov is fighting. Who's he fighting again?
Oh, I didn't know he had one booked. Okay, so that wouldn't really make sense.
Yeah, no, he's fighting. He's got a fight. Let me check. Let me make sure.
Was it Nazardine Imavov?
He's fighting Brendan Allen on
Oh,
the
it's a good fight.
Moicano Saint Denis card,
Okay, end of September.
which is an awesome fight. Um,
Oh yeah.
and then obviously you have Robert Whitaker and Chimaev. So that, like that's so I don't know. I mean, Izzy could fight either the winner of either of those, and that could set up for a title eliminator. I think after Robert Whitaker's performance last fight, if he finishes Chimaev, you kind of have to give him the next title shot after Strickland, right? Or at least then you have Whitaker Izzy again. I think Whitaker should be able to jump over Izzy for a title shot if he defeats Chimaev. What do you think about that?
Um, I wouldn't really see a problem with it necessarily, but I also wouldn't mind seeing them fight again. It's gonna have to happen at some point if
Yeah.
they're gonna be still entangled. But um, who else is at that? You said Whitaker is in that top 5. You said is
So,
Imavov in the top 5?
yeah, he's 4. So we got
4.
Brendan Allen 7, Marvin
Okay.
Vittori 6, Jared Cannonier is 5, Imavov is 4, Robert Whitaker's 3, Adesanya's 2, and Strickland's 1. And wait, Jared Cannonier's fighting next week, right?
Yep.
Against our boy from the Fighting Nerds, Barhalio. So he's 12.
Okay, so that's some implications there, Jim. So
So if he wins, that'll throw him right in the mix too. Either one of them.
I don't. I honestly don't think Chimaev's going to beat Whitaker, but imagine if he beat Whitaker and we'd have Adesanya and Chimaev just happen at some point.
That'd
That'll
be
be a pretty wild
crazy.
matchup. It's a wild matchup. So if you're looking for fun fights,
And that's that could main event a pay-per-view right there.
yeah, with no belts, who cares?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that'd be a big one. But
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean there's so
I was
much
just thinking
going
about.
on in the middleweight division. Um
I
I
got
don't
a
know.
I got a weird feeling Whitaker's going to put it to him though.
Yeah,
He's
well,
very underrated.
yeah, I don't know. Well, if Chimaev's got to get to the fight first, so.
No, yeah, he's just. I guess he has some discipline issues too.
Oh yeah, well because that guy, who is it, is like a huge fan of him. Someone from the Muslim world.
Oh, something. Yeah, like so. I think it's like a Chechen warlord or something.
Oh,
But
so yeah, so they're probably just
something
partying, hanging
light.
out.
But
Yeah.
no, I just heard. I think Bisping was talking about it. Like, bro, I love my sweets too, but I guess he has an issue with like when he's in camps, they'll catch him with like a bunch of candy bars and shit.
Oh
I don't know. You
yeah.
don't even know if it's true, but it's like
Well,
that's probably why you're getting sick if you just running your body to the ground, but you're not getting good nutrition.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. If he wants a world championship, I don't know that he's got to figure out some balance there. If that's his issue, I don't know. But
Who knows?
um,
Yeah, who knows the truth? But
well, also about
either
this.
way, it's a great matchup.
Yeah, I can't wait. About this main event, though, I feel like we're glossing over how well Duplessis did. Um, the thing I
Yeah,
love,
he fought a great fight.
the thing I love about him, and I'm not like a huge fan yet. I'm a fan. I'd say I'm a fan, but I'm not a huge fan yet. But what I love about him is that he's just he doesn't let anything get to him. He'll fail 100 times and get up 101. You know what I mean? Like it's always sticking to the game plan. He's relentless, and when that one mistake happens, he's really good at capitalizing on it. As you saw Saturday night, like he took his neck so fast.
Champs do, yeah.
And that's what that's what professionals do in those situations. So, hats off to Du Plessis. He proved everyone wrong, including Drake, at $450,000. And you, Dan. I switched literally right before that. He almost had me too, but not that I had. I don't know.
That was more a pick with my heart.
Yeah,
but but it was a great fight. It just now the only thing I worry about him is he's always there to be hit, and if that next fight is going to be against Alex Pereira, you better be careful with that one, because the way he likes to kind of blitz in like that.
Yeah,
I would imagine Pereira's probably licking his chops, just be like, oh, I got something for that. That's a tough matchup.
How probable do you think that fight happens? How possible is that fight?
I would say
I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening at all.
It could be possible, especially if they book Du Plessis and Strickland around the same time Pereira and Roundtree are fighting, and then they both obviously win their respective fights. You could do something like that maybe right after. But everything would have to line up perfectly, so I would say it's probably not going to happen. But
yeah, and first of all, the Pereira Roundtree fights early October, so that's kind of too soon after this one to do something like that. But also, I think exactly what Du Plessis said. He said, I don't really agree with the fact that he said, "Oh, if you got stiffed by Izzy, you don't want to be in there with me." But I think, I don't know, why would Pereira come down again to deplete himself again? Like, he's doing.
I think it'd be at 205.
Yeah, if anything, you have a couple more fights for Du Plessis. You have plenty more fights. We just talked about all the guys in middleweight who literally could deserve a title shot in the next 5-6 months. Go through a couple of those guys and then move up. And he's a big middleweight. He could totally move up. When Izzy moved up and he fought Blachowicz, there was a huge difference there, but I don't think it would be that way necessarily if Du Plessis wanted to move up. Yeah, I don't think, I hate rushing into those ideas, but I get, why Pereira does it, just to like get people. He's stirring shit, he's stirring the pot, and I love it because he's awesome. He doesn't have to say anything. He just sits in a chair with the TV on in the background, and he's like, I might have to come back down to 185, and people just go crazy. I love it.
So, he shouldn't though, just because that's the reason why he was knocked out by Adesanya, I think. Was
because he depleted weight cut himself. He has
to, yeah, that's a big part of it. It has to be. But I think they probably do that. It makes sense to do it at 205. With Du Plessis big, he could come up. But like you said, it probably won't happen.
Yeah, and the bigger route for Pereira is to move up and fight John Jones.
Yeah.
So that's where, I mean, if he wants a certain route to play out, it's that one, rather than beating the middleweight champ, or putting his belt up against the middleweight champ. You go up and have the heavyweight champ put his belt on the line to you. You just have more to lose if you fight the middleweight champ. You know what I'm saying? I
can't believe that's even like in the discussion. John Jones and Pereira, that's so crazy to think about.
I know. Well, that's the fight people want to see. That and Aspinall, but yeah.
And you know why I think it's interesting? It's because of the calf kicks.
Yeah.
Oh, if he gets those off on John Jones, and you're like, oh shit, like that would be something else because we've never seen something like that. So
Yeah, for
I
sure.
don't. Cause I think everyone would think it'd just be like they would think, oh, Pereira's power right away. I was like, no, I think about those first. If he gets those calf kicks off, because no one throws them faster than him. And speaking of fast, Jim, that's probably my favorite weapon of Duplessis' head kick. That was a left head kick he throws.
Yep.
It's so fast,
Yeah.
so quick. No telegraph. It's so crazy. Um, yeah, no, you got to give respect where it's due. He fought a great fight, and it was one of those things you just know you're gonna get wet. He's going swimming, man. He knew he was gonna get wet, so he was just constantly in Adesanya's face for the better part of the fight. He was getting hit, but he had his fair share of moments.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
then like we were talking about the circling out too, that kind of bit him in. I mean, yeah, look, total strikes are pretty even, honestly. Um,
And they were
the
even
body stuff sticks out.
saying during the telecast that like whoever was moving forward was winning offensively, and it was so back and
Yes, yeah.
forth, which is such a great fight to watch, no matter who it is. Um, and it shows how good they are, right? I mean,
Hmm.
like I don't know, they just kind of. It was a really fun fight to watch. It was, I wouldn't say evenly matched, and I don't understand why. I don't agree with Duplessis saying he won the fight on the feet, because I think he was getting teed up on the feet for the most part.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't agree with that.
yeah, but or maybe what he meant was control on the feet and creating the opportunity to get the takedown and the finish. Oh, I don't know. I just
It's weird.
I think
It's like,
Adesanya, especially up until that point, had him. If it kept going that same way, Adesanya was going to win it by unanimous decision.
yeah, oh yeah.
So
I thought he'd win the fight. Yeah, so um, but I mean, you won the fight, man. You choked him out, so you won. So it doesn't really matter what happened.
yeah,
No sense in talking about that.
I know, right?
But yeah, especially if you're not gonna really have a correct recollection of it, or whatever. Maybe you might have to watch it back because it's different when you're in it, obviously. So, um, I think if you watched it back, you would think. I thought most people would probably saw it that way. You thought that, right? Adesanya was pretty
Yeah,
much in control of the stand-up for the most part because it looked like Duplessis was pretty concerned with a lot of things Adesanya was doing because he was getting off on him pretty easily.
yeah. It's not that Duplessis didn't have any offense. Um,
So he had, yeah. Oh,
it was more that he had to work harder for it than Adesanya seemed to. You know what I mean?
yeah. Adesanya wasn't as available to be hit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Duplessis had to work for his shots, which he does great. And he did great. But Adesanya always knew where to be to hit him, and it didn't seem like it was that difficult to find those spots for him. So,
Not at all.
but
No, it's good.
great fight, obviously. And I love that they like kind of made amends after, and I love that they both said that either way. Well, I don't know if you usually don't watch the post interviews, but I think Duplessis, was it Duplessis or Adesanya? I think it was Adesanya. I can't remember. One of them said that they had an Uber driver a couple weeks before. Did you see this?
No.
They had an Uber driver from Africa, and the guy was like, "Oh, I can't wait," this and that, and they're talking about the fight, and right before he got dropped off, he goes, "Hey, just so you know, no matter if you win or Izzy wins or whoever it was, um, it's still a win for Africa, and we're just happy that this is happening." So, and I think that's true. That's awesome. And like now that the PFL, Ngannou's like the PFL Africa ambassador, and they're trying to move combat sports into the country or into the continent. I don't know. Yeah, this is a great fight to bring the sport down there, or to give another reason to come to like South Africa. So yeah, it was just great all around, and they made amends, and he hugged his mom and dad and all that, and I don't know, it was just good. He gave him his jacket and stuff. It was really they're both stand up guys, and Adesanya, as always, takes it a humble loss. He's very humble, which is
That's
good
why
to
I
see.
like him.
Yeah, me too.
Because he always he just takes it on the chin. And he's he for the most part he's always accurate of what happened. Like he's never like delusional of what happened.
Yep.
Which some fighters get a little bit. Maybe it's just like to protect or whatever. But
Ego.
yeah, maybe it's that. But with Adesanya, he's never really. There's none of that. It's just pretty matter of fact. That's what happened. This is what I need to do. It was very. He always gives props to whoever he's fighting. But yeah, no, it's just I'm just happy that he's still gonna stick around. There's plenty of fights, and plus that fight was so. It was a great fight. It was competitive, and I thought he was winning it. So, you get another big win. Like you said, maybe two. I think you probably just get one big win and you're back in there, but we'll see. But either way, you get a couple. He's right back in there. With a guy like Duplessis, you can beat him. Any given night, either guy can do pretty much what they got to do. I mean, I would still worry about that, though. I think Duplessis is probably going to attack that even more in the rematch. So you got to be ready for it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like more takedowns, ground and pound, submission attempts, like all that type of. I think you go even heavier on that. But either way, it's a fight that I would like to see happen again. Hopefully, it does.
I mean, that would be the headliner for South Africa, a South Africa
Big
card
time.
for sure.
Great. Makes sense, especially with him being the champ, right?
Yeah, if things happen the way that at least they want them to go, I mean, that'd be a great build up to an amazing rematch in South Africa. That'd be amazing. That'd be awesome. And then if
Tell me about it.
Kamaru gets a win or two back, I think he's trying to fight.
Who could he fight?
For the title.
Is he 185 now?
No, I think he's still 170.
Still 170?
I think he wants to fight Bilal.
What, one fight? Bilal, okay. That's a fun fight. I like that matchup stylistically.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't know what's going to be next for Bilal. They haven't really discussed it a ton yet. There's so many guys coming up at 170 that the landscape's going to look very different in say like whatever 6 to 8 months. I bet you're going to see some names really creep up there, and like they're going to be right on the cusp of a title shot. It's going to get. I think that belt's going to. I'm not saying Bilal's going to lose it right away, but I think that belt's going to change hands a few times coming up. There's just too many good guys coming up.
Yeah,
I think it'd be hard to hold on to it
for sure.
You got that was that really big dude that we talked about. Was it Rozabayev?
Oh,
Can't believe he's 170. Yep. You got Ian Gary, like MVPs right there. What are the names? That dude.
Rachmanov.
That dude. Carlos prayed that dude this weekend. We'll talk about him. Like that dude's gonna.
Yeah.
He's gonna give a lot of people problems at 170.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of young names that are coming up that we definitely didn't mention that like I said, a lot of these divisions are gonna look quite different, I think. There'll always be your lightweights, there'll be a lot of mainstays, but it's kind of how bantamweight. Remember how bantamweight was all of those now they've been around for a while, but all those like bantamweight names like popped in there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All seemingly around at once, and now they're the mainstays. It's going to be, I think, the same thing. Now you see 145s doing the same thing. The talent level is just insane. It's ridiculous. So
it's fun. What makes it fun for us, man? Gives us something to talk about for sure.
Makes it easy, dude. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Speaking of that, let's get on to the co-main event, which I think had well, I don't know. I think a lot of people took Urseg just like me and you did. Um, but I knew Kai, and we talked about it. Kai Kara France is an amazing fighter.
Finisher.
I didn't think it would end like that. Um, Holy shit, man! What a fight!
Oh,
It was good. Like Urseg didn't even really have his time to like get adjusted. I don't think.
because
You
he
know?
looked pretty smooth early though. He was getting out of the way of things, but like they mentioned in the telecast, they're like, oh, yeah, he gets out of the way just by like a centimeter. I'm like, I don't, hindsight now, you're like, oh, maybe make it more of an inch. Let's like kind of
Yeah.
get a little
Right.
more out of it. But no, that's what you got to do. I mean, that's kind of the game you play. You zig when you should have zagged, and that's just the nature of the beast. It's a it's a cruel sport, man. It's beautiful as it is. Like you see, like that's why when they show those, remember those like agony and defeat
Oh yeah. Yeah.
videos they used to show? Those are always cool.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, it's it's that's a tough one. It's a tough one to take, but especially after you lost in the title shot, you had your first title shot. You know, you did well, but you obviously didn't come out on top, and then I believe it's your first fight back, right?
Yep.
And then that's a tough one.
In Australia, in
That
your
really,
hometown.
yeah, that really sends you. You know,
Yeah.
it's a bummer, but he'll be back. You know that he's young.
Yeah, and he's a great fighter, man. Like I still love watching him. Um, and I'm curious to see who they give him next. But for Kai Kara France, that looks like he's gonna have a shot at Pantoja after that victory.
It's a that could be your guy. That could be Pantoja just because of the. I mean, Pantoja's got like a crazy chin, but if a guy's going to stop a guy like Pantoja, it'd probably be a guy like Kai Kara France.
Yeah.
That's what he does. He's a finisher, so it's like that's a. I really like that fight. That sounds good to me.
And what about
I wonder when
Urseg?
they'll.
What else we got for rankings on in flyweight here?
Oh boy,
Rankings for flyweight. All right, we've got. So you think he's going to go down? He was number 7. Um,
he was 7,
yeah,
and Kai what was Kara France
he was 4.
4. Okay, so he probably won't really move much. I mean, you lost to a guy that's ranked higher than you anyway. Um,
Yeah. Well, we got Alex Perez, Tatsuro Taira, Amir Albazi, Brandon Moreno, and Brandon Royval. But then underneath, you have Mateus Nicolau, Manel Kopp, Tim Elliott. There's plenty of good matchups there.
oh, there's a lot. There's a lot of good matchups. I mean, really, any of those would be, I believe, first time fights for him. Like, I don't think he's fought most of those names. So a lot of them sound good, especially towards the top. I say give him someone around that top. That top he belongs in the top 5 discussion. So,
Yeah.
but maybe he'll get a top 10. You're not going. I don't think you're gonna get another top 5 right away after losing to a top 5. It's just not the way it usually works. But
I think he
I
just
don't
needs
think.
a. I think he just needs a W.
Yeah,
He needs to get back on the positive side of things, and then reevaluate where he's at, and get a W, and then maybe go again for a top 5 or something like that. But yeah, some great matchups there. Let's go down to the next fight. We had the fight of the night. Oh, also performance of the night. Kai Kara France. He got a $50,000 bonus.
that's awesome.
And fight of the night, these two got a $50,000 bonus for obvious reasons if you watch the fight. Mateus Gamrot versus Dan the Hangman Hooker. What a fucking fight, dude. This was crazy. From start to finish, it was an amazing war. And Dan Hooker, if he wasn't one of your favorite fighters before, he just became one of your favorite fighters. My God, this guy is crazy. I feel like when he got his tattoos, he like turned into like an evil version of himself, but like a fun evil, you know?
Yeah, Daniel Cormier was saying like it looked like he like unlocked all the like the things to get like the tattoos and stuff in the video game when you
Yeah, the
create a fighter.
customization. Yeah.
Yeah, the customization. So yeah, like DC's so funny, dude. But no, you really, yeah, it's something different. I think it, like he just said, he's just finally. I mean, he said he's finally getting good. I don't think it's that because he's always been good. I think it's just more like you're probably just coming into your own. You feel like comfortable now.
He seems like he has way more confidence than he ever has.
Yeah, that's a big part of it too, right?
Yeah.
Like you you want to feel like you belong. Maybe you don't feel like you belong. Maybe that's big on the confidence part of it. And man, he looks the part, man. He always did. He's always been a tough fighter, man. He's fought some of the best names. So it's like just because you're losing to him doesn't mean well because you lose to Poirier and like Michael Chandler. It's like so what?
Yeah.
You know?
Anybody could on any given day.
Yeah, that's why it's one of the best divisions. But what was the fight that you had mentioned? That would be awesome for Dan Hooker next.
Well,
Are we talking about it?
I have this up right now because and I haven't read the article, but there was an article and the headline says Dan Hooker claims Charles Oliveira fight is locked in, followed backstage chat with Hunter Campbell.
Oh, that's cool.
But the one I mentioned was what was the one I mentioned? I don't think I mentioned that one. Oh, Gaethje.
See, I love that matchup. It'd be a fun fight, man.
Yeah, it would.
Um, yeah, I mean, if that's locked in, that's there's no problem there. That's a good fight.
Well,
So,
it's too early to tell, you know. Just like Dana
yeah,
says, I don't make fights on fight night, you know. Um, but that would be cool. I mean, and it's like who said it? Someone said he's like, wouldn't it? Oh, I saw it online. It's like, wouldn't it be great to see blonde Charles Oliveira against blonde Dan Hooker?
yeah, yeah. So that's funny.
But oh, so we were chatting during this fight, and I was questioning the scoring because it was a very close fight, and well, there was some very close rounds. Um, and it was split decision, I believe, right? Yeah, split decision. So it was a close fight, even in the judges' mind.
Yep.
But it was weird because what was the round in question? So the round in question for me, I think, was the first round, and I had it going to Gamrot.
I did too.
Okay, so I thought the second round I gave to Hooker.
Second
But
and third to Hooker, I had. Yep.
okay, but every other judge, because I have the scorecards up here now, every other judge gave the second round to Gamrot. Every judge gave the second round to Gamrot, and 2 out of the 3 gave the first round to Hooker.
Oh, I want to rewatch it now because I
See,
don't
it's
remember it
so
that way.
weird.
But
And because like
I thought Gamrot's best round was the first round.
yeah,
That's
because
how I remember the fight.
he had him on the ground pretty much the whole round until well he did get up and so Hooker was really great at getting up too, which was awesome. He besides that first round, he wasn't on his back very much. He was getting up from pretty much every takedown or blocking them. He was doing a great job defensively. But when he did get up in the first round, he hit him. He did cause some damage. I think he put him on his ass with a right or a right hand maybe. And then so I'm just like, okay, so if you have him on his ass for 4 minutes, and then he gets up and he hits you with a right hook and puts you like what's more? But then it's like UFC judges want more damage, so they're gonna count that for more points, which I get for the fan, you know, for like the casual fan, but like in terms of a fight, I don't know. He's dominating you for like 90% of the round. He should win
Yeah,
that
that's why
round.
I have to give it to him. Yeah, okay, he got hit with a shot, but I don't. Yeah, I kind of see it the same way you do.
Like
The work was already.
if he was like 1 or 2 punches from like finishing the fight, okay, that's
It's
different.
different.
Yeah,
It's
that's
different.
different.
maybe that's a true draw then. If someone wins 4 minutes of a round or 4.5 minutes, and then they get close to being stopped, they get flash knocked down and almost get stopped,
Yeah.
then maybe that's a good 9-9. Maybe just go, all right, you know what? Just call that one even. Because that's a significant thing.
Yeah.
A significant part of the round. The most significant part of the fight up to that point is that moment. So it's
Yeah.
got to count heavy. So I would say maybe do that. I don't know. I'm gonna start messing with the judge and stuff on verdict with that. Because
Yeah.
I got to start doing 10-8s more frequently because I don't really think to do them that much. I'm just like I'm not I'm just scoring it on the app. So I'm just whoever won the round. I'm just usually generally going 10-9. I'm not
Yeah,
really
for sure.
thinking
Yeah.
as much of. I should start thinking more about that. Like it's kind of develop my own criteria in my head. Because sometimes it's tough. You see some 10-8s from people that I think they throw them around a little too. I'm like, I don't. I like 10-8 to be thoroughly dominant. That way, there's no real mistakes about it. I think sometimes they just because they had full control of the round, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a 10-8. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know, what do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I agree. These are one of those conversations that it's just going to be a never-ending debate in the
Hmm.
sport because scoring is, and Rogan talks about this all the time. It's like it was adopted from the boxing, scoring style, which doesn't make sense because this sport's a lot more complicated on not just one or two, like many different levels. So yeah, I just don't think it's the right way to do it. But then again, like no one has a better solution that I've seen. Um,
Yeah,
so I don't know. I think someone just got to come up with something. But then getting them to adopt that is that's a whole other thing because that's politics. That's whatever. So, but that's going to be years down the line. Even if someone comes up with an idea, they're going to have to test it and they'll probably have to try it in a different promotion and guarantee that it actually works and it works well and it's fair and valid. And then even then, UFC might not adopt it because it's not the
not
norm
theirs.
in Vegas and combat sports history. You know what I mean? So
I think they'd have to come up with it if it was going to be something they implement.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. Just like weight cutting, it's just like that's a never-ending conversation. And you're always going to see guys that miss weight or get really close to passing out or having health issues, and it's going to take one real bad situation to, turn the
Too
tide,
bad.
I guess. So and that sucks because it's going to happen eventually.
Just do every 10 pounds. I don't get it. I don't know why they just don't switch up the weight classes to every 10 pounds.
Yeah, I don't know, but
Who cares if you have a couple more? That'd be awesome. You could have potential for these, like, there's so many big fights.
yeah,
If it's about money and you guys want to make some more, like, that's the way to more belts, more title fights, more pay-per-view, whatever. Like, it's, you know,
yeah.
I don't get it. But
Well,
anyways,
I don't know. Well,
let's
speaking
Jim.
of speaking of bad judging scorecards, we got the
Yes,
next
just
fight.
about to say. Jesus Christ, that's one thing you do need to do. Is kick that person out of there.
Yeah, which is exactly what they did, which was great. That was awesome. But this next fight, the second fight on the main card was the Battle of Giants. Tai Tuivasa and how do you say his name? His first name? Jarzinho? Jarzinho.
Jorginho. Jorginho,
Jarzinho
yeah, I believe
Rosenstrike. Yep.
that's
And
as I've heard. As I've heard it.
yeah, I think it's Jarzinho. Yeah.
It's Jorginho, yeah. Versus Strike.
Um, in this fight, it didn't go the way I thought it would. I thought it would be a quick finish for one of the other, either guy. I thought Rosenstrike was going to win, which he did. But I thought it was going to be a first round KO because I thought Tai Tuivasa was going to, run in like he normally does, very high energy, um, like a rhinoceros coming at you full speed, and actually that's what he should have done more of in this fight, because I think that's his bread and butter, right? He's either going to get caught or he's going to catch you. But he's
Just
really
creating chaos.
not nearly as good as Rosenstrike is at distance fighting and setting shots up. He's more of a brawler. Um, but it was still a fun fight to watch. The first round was kind of them feeling each other out, but then Tai Tuivasa in the second round threw on some more energy, and it became a little bit more exciting. But it was a fun fight, and Rosenstrike looked great. He looked great. I
He
don't
did
know.
look sharp.
What
Yeah,
what do you think?
I I thought you pretty much nailed it with that. He looked really good. Jorginho did, and because Tuivasa is just dangerous like this at every second, just because he's just like you say, he's throwing. But it's tough to say because you could say, yeah, you could try to get more going offensively, but I just think Rosenstrike's so good. He kept him off. I think he was really stunning him with the shots just because like maybe we didn't see that he was getting wobbled or dropped. I think the shots were he was aware of them, put it that way, because that's a
Yeah.
big he throws that is a big dude and he throws strikes very technically. So uh, he's a dangerous fight for everybody.
And
Uh,
wasn't this the other fight? Didn't Rosenstrike throw a bunch of body shots as well in this fight? I'm pretty sure this is the other fight that I saw body shots that were working.
a fair amount, 12 of 16. It's pretty good.
Like I thought he
There's like
he got a couple that
26
were,
without Adesanya. It was wild.
yeah. I thought he had a couple to tie that were like almost debilitating. Like it was like really good body shots, good solid ones. Oh, and then Ty also like hurt his foot in the second round or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
So that was a big deal. I don't know if he broke it or whatnot, but I think it looked like he kicked his knee with the his big toe or the top of his foot.
Yeah, I probably just went dead on him.
Yeah,
But it didn't seem like it really hindered him at the back end of the fight,
yeah,
which
no,
is like, yeah, it could be adrenaline, but I don't think he broke it. Hopefully not, because that would be a bummer. But I mean, the heavyweight knee you're kicking, so
yeah. You,
things do happen.
you don't want it
It's
to
a
be the
big knee.
knee. I'd
It's a
rather a
big knee.
broken foot than a torn
Oh yeah,
MCL or
sure.
ACL.
Yeah, broken bone in the foot. We'll take any day
Yeah.
over that.
Um,
But no, he looked really good, man. I was definitely impressed. And that judge, man, I'm looking at it like, holy shit, I can't believe that. 30-27.
yeah. So for people
I
that
don't think I
didn't
gave him one round,
know, yeah.
right? Okay.
So people that didn't watch the fight, um, it was very heavily sided to Rosenstrike. Like I think any casual that watched that fight would not. All right, maybe you give Ty one round. Maybe if you're a
Sure.
casual, you're like you're not really sure technically what you're watching. Okay, maybe Ty could have won one round. Maybe the first round when it was slow, they were feeling each other out. Maybe you give that to Ty. Okay, second and third round, there's no way. There's no way.
Yeah.
And one of the judges gave Tai Tuivasa all three rounds, 30-27. And then we heard in between the next fight, or maybe it was during the next fight, because they switch out judges every fight, right? It's not all the same judges all night, correct?
No, I think it's like a mixture of I think, but yeah, it's different. That's why that person was relieved of their duties. I think they were supposed to do the co-main event or something. I can't remember which one it was, but they were supposed to do another fight and they yanked them before then.
Yeah, I just remember hearing either in between fights or during one of the next fights that he was relieved of his duties, which is awesome to hear. That's one
Yeah,
step in the right direction, because we've seen, I mean, that
that's
might be the
crazy.
most egregious one, but like we've seen
And I
some,
can remember.
yeah, some really bad decisions. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm glad they
Just
did that though, because that's awesome.
just take a shit on your scorecard. Just do that instead. That's better than what you did.
Yeah, take a picture
Take
of
a
that and
shit.
give it to Bruce Buffer.
Just go here. This is what I think.
There you go.
That's better than what you just did. So, Jesus, man. Yeah, you can't have that, dude. It's like, it's not like a round that you're like, I can't believe they gave it to that dude. He gave him every round.
Yeah, and
It's not like one in question.
I love Tai Tuivasa, and he's
Oh,
from the
yeah.
area. Like everyone wants him to win. He's a huge fan favorite. You heard the applause when he came out. Everyone wants Tai. They want shoeies, man. They want him to win and party with him after. I get it. He's awesome.
He's likable. He's so likable. It's easy. Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't win that fight, dude. I don't care.
No,
You could have
he
one eye
should.
closed and he'd still lose
He
that
would
fight.
tell you that.
Yeah.
He's not delusional. Like
Yeah.
you know.
And so with that said, Ty's now on a 5 straight fight losing streak.
It's tough, man. Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know what happens to him from here. I don't think anyone would be surprised if they cut him. I'm not saying they should do that or I want that to happen. But 5 fights in a row, man. I mean, he's lost to some really
Any
tough
division
fighters
is
though,
tough.
but
Yeah.
but
Top names.
yeah, I don't
Maybe
know.
the division isn't super deep, so that might be the only reason why he might be able to get another fight and see what happens. But
Well, what do you
you
think's
never know where he's
next?
at mentally too.
Yeah, who knows? It seems like he likes rugby more than he likes UFC.
Dude, imagine seeing him with the
Yeah.
ball coming at you. You'd be like, what am I gonna do here? What do I do here? What do I do?
Well, what
You
do you
know?
think? I mean, heavyweight is one of those crazy divisions where literally, well, I mean, we just saw, and we could talk about this for a minute if you want. And I think we mentioned it on the last podcast. The whole, um, wait, what was I? No, never mind. That's light heavyweight. Um, with Khalil Roundtree,
Oh yeah.
where some people are kind of mad about how he got a title shot because he's like ranked 8th or something, and he also just like failed a drug test. Like Jamal Hill was really upset about it. Um,
Yeah. There's a lot of context with it though.
but what I was gonna say in the heavyweight division, it doesn't really matter if as long as you're in the top 10, like anything
Sure.
could happen. You don't like. So now this puts Rosenstrike at 10 because Ty was 10. So you have Tybura, you have Spivak, Miocic at 7, who's going to fight John Jones. Almeida, Curtis Blades, Pavlovich, Volkov, Cyril Gahn, Tom Aspinall. I don't know. What do you? Is there a matchup there that would be fun or you think would benefit Rosenstrike after a performance like that?
Rosenstrike. So where's Rosenstrike sit?
He's at 10.
And I would think I wouldn't mind seeing. I wonder, has he ever spot Spivak? That'd be a good one.
That would be a good one.
I like that one.
Or who's
Is he
coming off a
7 or was he?
loss? Well, Curtis Blades is coming off a loss. He's number 5.
Have they fought before? I want to
I
say they have.
don't know.
If not, I mean, either way, that sounds good too. Let's see.
He has, and he lost to
Okay.
Blades
Okay.
in
So that might be something
2021
he'd
though.
want to. Might be something he'd want
To get that loss back.
if he's interested in trying to get that back. That could be a potential matchup for him. I wouldn't mind seeing it.
Yeah. Well, I
But
don't
that
know.
dude Spivak's kind of streaking. He seems like he might have a bigger fight lined up next. That was a pretty big win he just had because he went right through Tybura. So
Oh yeah, that wasn't too long ago. That was like 2 weeks ago, something like that.
yeah,
Last week.
something like that. Yeah, roughly. Yeah, less than 2 weeks. Um,
That's kind of what makes heavyweight kind of fun, because you don't know. Like they literally could put anything in front of you, and it's 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 different from the lower weight classes because I feel like the lower weight classes, the technique and all that matter more because if you're fighting heavyweight and you got any power behind your hands, anything can happen.
Oh, for sure.
You know, like
It
even a guy like
truly takes just one.
yeah, even a guy like Tom Aspinall who's very well rounded, if he clips you, you're out. You know what I mean? Like so none of that well roundedness necessarily matters in certain situations. And the same thing with like Curtis Blades. He has knockout power too. So I just think in terms of them being so big and hitting so hard that you just never know what's going to happen. You know?
Oh, God, yeah.
And that's why I think it's so refreshing when you see a guy like Rosenstrike like the other night who's setting everything up. He's technical, he's patient. People like Tom Aspinall who can take it to the ground, choke you out. I think that's I don't know. It's very refreshing in the heavyweight division to see people like that. And I want more opportunity for those guys because you can tell they're putting in the work. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see him get a pretty big fight next.
Yeah,
Just
for
because
sure.
of striking, you just put him up there with a striker. I mean, that's a great. He'll give you a show, man. That dude can. He can throw it out with all these guys. So
Yeah, for sure.
we'll see what he ends up getting. But that Curtis Blades rematch wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, that'd be good. I like that matchup.
Does it get you right where you want to be in, and you can avenge a loss. So
Yeah.
a win against Blades really puts you right in a good spot. So I wonder what they'll end up doing. We'll see if we can call it, Jim.
If we can call it.
Next, my boy, dude. Yeah, we'll see if we can call that one. Next is my boy, dude.
Oh yeah. I'm going to crack a beer for this one. You ready?
Oh,
Mm.
like an ad, dude.
So the first
Read it.
fight of the night, well, I shouldn't say fight of the night. Performance of the night though by Carlos Pratis against Li Jingliang, the Leech. Um well, we've known about Carlos Pratis for a little while, but I think most fans don't because he's fairly new and he was in the Contender Series last year, I think, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Which we got a shout out tomorrow. There's a new episode of the Contender Series that everyone should
Tuesday.
watch because it's going to be
Oh, yeah.
awesome. And there's a guy named
Look forward to it.
Gustafson. There's a guy named Gustafson fighting. I don't know if he's related.
It's Alexander's Irish twin, and he's the
uh,
main event.
but Carlos Pratis, man, holy shit, dude! First one to ever knock out the Leech, and he did
Yeah,
it
dude.
in stunning fashion.
Oh, man, it seemed like every time he landed his left hand, it hurt him like every time.
Yeah,
Which is always kind of surprising. That's generally not the case. Usually it's like one or two here and there, but then you see like, oh, so that's got to mean he just has like all the range down perfectly because he's everything he's throwing, he's perfectly in range because he's landing with authority, man. Because that dude, he's something else. He's probably, I don't know. He seems very difficult to deal with.
yeah, for sure.
So, like his fighting style is like because he fights pretty technical, but the way he holds his hands sometimes, he kind of like baits you in to thinking that he's not like defensively. But I mean, he just man, he was relentless, dude.
And also, so like, and I know you know this, but I put a $2 bet on him to win by submission because it was plus 1,200. So I would have
Why
won like
not?
26 bucks out of the deal, right? Just because I was like, okay, he's gonna clip him. He's the Leech is gonna go down. He's gonna take his neck. Like that's a possibility, right? And he
Oh, for
had
sure.
I don't know how many chances to do that, but he was so confident standing that he didn't even bother going to the ground. He was like, "Nope,
Yeah, he
get
looked like
back
he was
up.
in the zone.
I'm gonna do that again to you in a
Yeah.
second. Just give me another one." He's like, "You're going out. It's just a matter of time. One of these
Mm.
you're not going to be able to take, and that's it."
It
And
was
it's
impressive. It
it,
really was. It
it
was an
was
impressive one.
wild, dude. Like he was so confident that there was no urgency about ending the fight because he knew it was a matter of time. It's crazy, dude.
So, so let me ask you this then. So I know he's new. He's a relative newcomer, but I mean,
Excuse me.
look who he. It's also good for the ad. But the, the Leech, he was at one point top 15, right?
Uh, if
Still
not,
there?
as close as you could get. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay. So he's right there. So I wonder what's next for. I'd say you give him a rank guy now.
Well, do you know who a lot of people are screaming right now to fight him
Oh, let
next?
me hear it. Let me hear it.
MVP.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
So
That'd be a tough fight for him.
so MVP's ranked 14
Wow,
currently,
dude, that's a scary fight.
and that's a crazy
Both
fight.
guys.
Yeah. Um.
Holy,
Yeah.
what if he knocks out MVP?
Well.
That catapults you. But god damn, the risk is mighty, Jim.
So I was thinking about
That's like
this.
saying,
Sorry. Go ahead.
sorry, that's like going up and trying to kiss a cobra, Jim. It's risky business, Jim. You might get bit. You might get bit,
The
Jim.
kiss of death.
Oh, Jesus, is it ever? Sorry, what?
Yeah. Well, stylistically, I want to see it. I think that'd be an awesome matchup and it'd be fun to
Definitely.
watch. I think. And Paredes, I'm pretty sure is a black belt in jiu-jitsu as well. Um,
They're pretty
so
well rounded over there, the fighting nerds.
so this
Or
is
it
what I was.
seem they seem like they are.
Yeah, this is what I was gonna say. I took a long walk yesterday, and I
Hmm.
was thinking about because I'm weird. I think about UFC when I take long walks. I don't know. Um, and I was thinking about the fighting nerds and who they got, and I'm willing to say this: in the next year, I think someone in the fighting nerds will have a belt,
That's a that's a pretty that's a good bet.
or at least be fighting for a belt. How's that?
Okay.
And I think at least two of them are going to be top five. Well, we have another one next week. Berhalio. He's fighting Cannonier. He's
I think
really
they're all
amazing too.
I think they're all going to be ranked within say another year or so.
And what weight class
If
is
not,
John Silva in?
let's see. So what he I think he's supposed to be featherweight, but he went up to lightweight. I mean, he beat Drew Dober, so it's like I wonder if he just goes to featherweight because of his training partner, that dude Mauricio Hoofy or Roofy. I had to figure out how you say his name because
I
he's
think
one of my
it's
favorites.
I think it's Hoofy.
Hoofy, okay. Um, that dude fights at lightweight, so maybe they want to avoid that. I don't know, but
So wait, Drew Dober.
Drew Dober, that was definitely a lightweight fight.
Okay.
Drew Dober ain't making 45. Um, and I think John Silva had a fight in UFC at 145 as well because he didn't make the weight. Remember?
Yeah, I think he moved up to fight Drew Dober because he was saving that fight, wasn't he? I don't think that was a
Yeah,
scheduled fight. It
it was
was
a
like
short
a
notice
short notice,
fight.
yeah.
Yeah,
So he might be 145.
you just got to make weight. I think he missed weight in one of the fights.
He did. Yeah, I don't remember what fight, but he did, I'm pretty sure.
Um, so that'd be the only thing, but I'd agree with that. There's got to be someone. I mean, that Carlos Paredes dude, that dude's gonna be ranked before you know it. He's right at the, you know, he damn near almost just beat someone that's just about ranked. So
Yeah, but that welterweight division, man, we were talking about that recently too.
crazy.
Just from 15 to 10, you have, where am I here? Kevin Holland, Venom Page, Vicente Luque, Neil Magny, Joaquin Buckley, Jeff Neal, Like, dude, and that's 15-10.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Oh yeah, Joaquin Buckley's fighting Stephen Thompson. That's gonna be awesome, dude.
That's
Then
wild.
then
It's
you got yeah. Then
these
you got
crazy kicks.
you got Wonder Boy, Sean Brady, Ian Gary, Gilbert Burns, Jack Della Maddalena, who was at the fight this past weekend because he's
Oh, he's one
Australian.
of my favorites, dude. That dude
Yeah,
is a beast.
I want to see what he's got next. But dude,
Oh, big fight.
welterweight is arguably just as stacked as lightweight.
It's like I think it's a pretty optimal fighting weight. 170 would be.
Yeah,
That means they're generally what, like 180, 190 fight night
yeah, that
ish.
sounds about right. Which is an
That's a
average
pretty
guy, probably.
that's a pretty like you know like an optimal fighting weight, I think.
Yeah, I would
Maybe
say
some would say maybe middleweight, but
yeah, an average adult male is probably right in that weight range, like 180, 170 to 190,
a lot of people, yeah.
if they're relatively fit, you know.
But
But Pratis, man,
yeah,
oh, what a
I
stud!
I know I'm curious to see what's next for him.
He got
Let's see.
performance of the night. He got a 50K bonus. And they
Yeah,
were
there's a
talking. They were.
sharks.
Did you happen to listen to the fight companion at
No,
all?
not yet. No,
Apparently, he's a big smoker. He smokes.
like cigarettes.
Yeah, and I guess like
Greatest ones?
he's like I'm a fighter, not an athlete. His whole thing is
That's
like
funny.
I'm a fighter. He's like he's not a professional athlete. He's a fighter. So he smokes and he's like I don't know. It's kind of crazy, which I think
That's pretty
is
nuts.
kind of awesome. Yeah.
That adds
Um.
to the that adds to his charm. But Joe Schilling would do that. He'd be ripping cigarettes in between his kickboxing matches.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
pretty wild.
that's something we forgot to mention about Dan Hooker in between rounds when he was like, "Hey
Yeah,
man, I
that's
love
cool.
this shit." He's like got two huge gashes on his forehead. Oh man, you gotta
Uh,
love that guy.
yeah, he's awesome.
Did you? I know you because you're on the East Coast. You took a little nap there and you didn't catch some of the prelims. Did you happen to catch any of the prelims or go back and watch any of those?
Yes, I rewatched Jack Jenkins. He looked really good. He did his kicks are vicious, huh?
Oh man, Herbert Burns was. There was one there where I was like, it could have broke his leg. And you talked
Yes.
about him breaking legs before. He broke like 5 legs in his career so far, or something like that.
He's messed, yeah, something like 3 or 4 for sure, like fractured. Like people got X-rays after the fight. Not like I probably explained it bad. Like they're not like clean breaks or anything, but they're more like after the fights. It's like, oh, this my shin feels all messed up. It's fractured. So I think that's happened a few times to his opponents. I think it might be more the. I thought it was like more the femur and what's the no not femur. What's the fibula? How do you say that, Jim? Fibula?
Tibula, and fibula.
Aren't those the main ones in your thigh bone? There?
Yeah, I don't know
I
which
don't
one's
know
which.
shit, Jim. I don't know shit.
We gotta brush up
But
on anatomy.
Jesus, I know. But yeah, I did see that one. What else did I watch?
So in other words, someone's gonna check on Herbert, make sure he's okay. Let's get a X-ray real quick.
Oh, see, another another leg to his mantle.
Did you
Another
watch the
broken bone.
Kulabau and Ramos?
Yeah, that was a cool fight.
In Kulabau, man, I think he got too much confidence out of that second round. He didn't do enough in the third. And it was close. The third was close, but I was like, he didn't do enough. He got all his energy from the second, and he didn't carry it over into the third, and his momentum was like gone for some reason.
Yep.
Because he was like, that rear naked choke was deep, and he somehow got out of all of them. And he took that as a victory, and I'm like, dude, you still got to win the third round, and then he just didn't do enough.
I know it's a bummer too. I didn't I didn't hear any of the corner advice, but hopefully they weren't giving them.
Yeah,
I hate when they hate
yeah,
when you hear the wrong advice. I'm like, you're better off saying nothing. than what you just said, because you're just going to put all these things in someone's head thinking it's going to change the way they fight, the way they approach it,
Yeah.
how aggressive they are. Like, that's not good. Don't mess with something in the middle, something live like that.
Yeah, for
Unless
sure.
you have a real good relationship with your fighter, which a lot of them do. Like, you could just tell, like, the way Trevor Whitman and Gaethje communicate, it's a good relationship. So, like, I think whatever he says holds a lot more weight than some of these other coaches are just like, I'm just wondering what they're trying to, what are you trying to, what are you trying to accomplish by in this minute here? Like, it's just the wrong, if you're not going to give him any technical advice, you're just kind of yelling at a guy who's tired. Just
Yeah.
let him recover and, like, maybe some good advice. But don't talk about what rounds you're up. If you're like, oh, you're up 2, then, take your foot off the gas. You just never know.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't assume that you have any of these rounds, you know, because Tuivasa is going to get the round anyway. So.
Yeah. So what did you think of there was obviously a controversial ending to the Walter Walker fight?
Yeah, I mean, uh, I believe what they said was in the rules, a verbal submission can be, like, if the fighter, like like audibly yells when the submission's in place.
That's
I guess
weird
that
though.
counts. Yeah, it's weird because it's a natural thing to do.
Yeah, you're
Like,
terrified.
oh, my fucking arm, oh, my fucking arm, oh, my fucking leg.
Like I
So
guess
I
if you
get it.
said like okay, 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 right? If you're screaming okay, okay, I
Sure,
don't
that's
know.
different.
I don't know. That's a weird one. All right. Can I get your opinion on something? How do you
Sure.
feel about Dominic Cruz as a commentator?
He comes off a bit strong a lot in his commentary, but, like, he's just so knowledgeable. It's hard. But I don't think he's like a great commentator. But I wish they would use him to do more breakdowns. I think that's where he's best.
I agree. I think he's
I love
great.
when he breaks down fights.
I think he's great at explaining where the fight is and where it needs to go for people to like get out of things like Rogan does. I think he's great at that because he's very knowledgeable. He's a great fighter, obviously, so he knows his shit. He's been doing it a long, long time. But I think he's so damn opinionated on things. Like one thing happens in his career and he hates
Yeah,
referees. He hates them. He's like I think these referees just take I can't remember exactly what he said about this whole situation, but he
yeah,
was very much on the side of like referees shouldn't have that much power. But at the
yeah,
same time, referees should have that much power because they're protecting you from your own warrior mindset, or whatever. Um, I don't know. Sometimes I get where it's coming from, but he also seems kind of pretentious sometimes about the way he thinks about things, which comes
yeah,
off negative to me. I mean, dude, as a fighter, I love Dominic Cruz, always have. Um, he's just weird. There's something about him. Commentary.
yeah. His commentating's a little off. Like, I much prefer, like, the DC and Bisping combo, or, like, obviously DC and Rogan Anik is great, but I prefer those names more for that. And then I wish he would do more,
Yeah,
like, breakdowns. That's where I think he was one of the best at. Like, Dan Hardy's
for
probably my
sure.
favorite,
Yeah.
but
And, I'm just
there's a
thinking.
lot of guys that do it well.
I'm just thinking about this now that I brought it up, but sometimes I hate like when DC and Rogan they won't take sides, because they're always they're always marketing the next fight. So they never say
Yeah,
anything negative about any of the fighters. They're always like, "Well, this is a really like even if all the fans are like, Adesanya's going to win." No, well, that's a bad example. But let's say it's a very one-sided fight. and it's one-sided in Vegas. It's one-sided with the fans. They'll never say it's one-sided. They'll go, oh, well, this is a really interesting matchup. What you have to look at is this, and this. So, like, sometimes that bothers me that they can't, like, just be like, yeah, he should win this pretty easily. But then you get people like Dominic Cruz who are somewhat opinionated sometimes about their ideas and opinions. And then I'm like, damn, I wish he was just more like them. I wish he would just, like, have fun and be positive. You know, like, I don't know. It's so weird. I'm never happy, Dan. That's the problem.
You want to go back to the days where Rogan would just be like on live as it's happening. He's like, yeah, he's mauling him. He's just mauling him. You remember those times where he just keeps saying it? He's mauling him.
Oh,
he's mauling him.
Well,
that's funny.
Well, all in all, what a great card. I think we covered most of it. It was a pretty solid card.
Tom Nolan too.
Yeah,
that was another name we mentioned too. Yep.
Let's do a quick run through of next week's card. And we'll talk about it probably on Friday or Saturday anyways. But we got Jared Cannonier and Chow Baraglio, another fighting nerd, which we mentioned earlier in the main event. Mm-hmm. And Baraglio's the negative 205 favorite. So that'll be interesting. And he's a number 12, and Cannonier's a number 5. This is a huge fight for Baraglio.
There you go. That could be one of your first guys to be in the top 5 of their respective division.
Yeah.
For the fighting nerds. That'll be the first of I would think a few.
Yeah.
That are going to be in that top of their division.
And then we have in the co-main, we have Angela Hill against Tabitha Ricci.
Pick them.
Ricci's number 11. Angela Hill's a number 9. Angela Hill looked great in her last outing. So I'm looking forward to that. What do you think about that fight?
That's a great fight. They haven't fought before, right? I don't think so. It's a fresh fight. I do like that matchup, and like you said, Angela Hill's looked awesome her last fight in particular. So that's a good co-main event for that. It's a good mix.
Yeah.
But the one that sticks out, Jim.
Yeah, you were just mentioning this to me the other day. Neil Magny and Michael Morales.
It's a real good test for him too. It's another welterweight, Jim. This kid, he just looks like a big welterweight.
Dang.
He's very aggressive. He's young. Like we talked about, he's undefeated from Ecuador.
Oh, he beat
Michael Morales.
Griffin's pretty good. He beat Griffin.
Yep. He beat Jake Matthews too. Adam Fugit, Trevin Giles. He's had a few fights in the UFC already, so he's also from the Contender Series.
Also, we find out this card, and I think these are those two names, Ryan Loder and Robin Valentine Frey. I think those are the two people from the Ultimate Fighter. We're going to find out who the Ultimate Fighter is. I haven't been paying attention to the season.
Oh, that's cool, dude. I know who Robert Valentine is.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I watched his first fight in the house. He threw a standing elbow and knocked the dude out.
Oh,
it was like, he's crazy. He's like a Viking guy from Switzerland.
Wow. Okay.
You gotta talk. You gotta see that one. I'll have to find out what episode that is. If it's like 1 or 2, it's early on in the show. So I kind of tapered off. I fell off and haven't seen the last few. But oh, that's cool. I'm trying to think of who Ryan Loder is, because they don't have any pictures on the card yet that I'm looking at.
Yeah, neither does it here.
Ryan Loder. I'll have to Google it and check it out. But that's cool. I didn't realize that at first. That adds a lot to this one too. And it's a late card.
Ryan Loder, middleweight, ESPN. Team Alpha Male, 6'1", 76.5-inch reach, He's 33 years old. No picture here either, though.
It's weird. I'd have to look him up.
He fought in the UFL and Uriah Faber's A1 combat.
That's cool.
He's got one loss.
That Robert Valentine, dude. That was something else.
All right, well that gives this whole card another dynamic to it.
It does.
It'll be fun.
But Edmund Shabazny and Jiro Mershart, that's a good matchup too.
Shabazian's pretty good.
Yeah, he's a pretty big favorite in this fight too. For good reason. Striker grappler matchup. We'll see how that goes, but I would think Shabazny is going to win that one.
Let's see what else. I don't know. Shabazian
there's some other
losses though.
He does, yeah. Actually, you know what? Mearshart, he's been there, done that. You never know.
Shabazian he's 2-4 in his last 6.
Yeah, neither one are really. Yeah, so he's 2-3, Mearshart. We'll see, Jim. I shouldn't be too confident with that one. Maybe I'll pull back on that. But there's some other good prelim matchups too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and we'll talk about it more next week. Looking forward to the Contender Series. Yeah, why don't we end it here? We're doing what are we at? An hour 16, hour 17.
Sure.
So we'll end it here, and we'll talk next week. But I know it's getting late over there on the East Coast for you. So yeah, let's end it here. Thank you guys for listening. Anybody still paying attention? Appreciate your support. If you haven't yet, please go follow us on Instagram at Pinnacle_combat. We also upload all of these episodes to YouTube with the same handle at Pinnacle_combat. Thank you, Dan, for calling and having these conversations like we always do. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you. It's always fun. It's always a good time.
Especially these late nights, man. I know you were up early this morning, so I thank you for staying up and waiting for me to get home from work.
Like stupid early.
Yeah, like, what the hell? I was going to bed and you were awake. I was like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm watching my show. Having some coffee, watching my show. It's just an early 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, well, the gym doesn't open until 5, so I have to leave at 4, so it's like, all thing, Jim.
I get it. You got your thing. I understand. As long as it's working for you, I love it. But yeah, go follow us on things. If you like the podcast, please share it with a friend. Tell somebody, subscribe, and we'll see you again next week. Peace.
See?